Hello and welcome. I am C.S. Gilmore, and I will be speaking to you today about 6 points of writing which are important to us as readers. There are more than 6 points, of course, but for the sake of time, we'll limit ourselves. And these 6 points can make or break a story. So let's get started. The first point we'll hit on is round and dynamic characters. It's really 2 points, but they're very intertwined, so we're going to put them together. A great example of this comes in the form of Gollum, from The Hobbit and the Lord of the Rings trilogy. In The Hobbit, Gollum is neither round or dynamic. He is flat and static. There's no connection to him. He's just Gollum. That's all we know about him. He has a ring, and he wants that ring very badly, and he wants to eat Bilbo. Not really much to him. And he's there, and then he's gone. We have no connection to him. And that's it. He doesn't even really make much of a choice. He's just him. He wants to get the ring. Come the Lord of the Rings trilogy, though, that changes. He becomes round and dynamic. Maybe not as much as we might like, but there's still something there now. We learn that he was Smeagol, and he actually becomes Smeagol again. He chooses to tell Gollum to go. And so there's some depth to him now. We know he had a previous life. We know what led to him becoming Gollum, and what brings him back to being Smeagol for a bit. It gives him more than just this flat appearance. He's someone we can pity, someone we can view as redeemable, like Frodo does. And he's dynamic. He chooses. He changes. He chose to tell Gollum to go. And a big part about being dynamic is the character being able to make a choice that they were not able to make before. There was no way Smeagol will have told Gollum to get lost in The Hobbit. And it even took him a while in The Lord of the Rings. But he did it. He became able to do that, to make that choice. And it created a whole new character, with depth, with feeling. And he grew. He became an actual character in the story, not just a place filler to give a reason why Bilbo suddenly had this ring, and to fill up some pages with interesting riddles. He had a purpose. And that has a great deal to do with whether a character is good or not. Let's face it, we probably liked Gollum from The Hobbit. He was an interesting character, sure. Weird hermit creature living in a cave, eating goblins, and wanting to eat Bilbo and have his magic ring. But that's about it. Lord of the Rings, we learn a lot more. And we get to love him as a character because he chooses. He actually does something. You can't be dynamic unless you choose. Because a character that gets punted around just by events, that's not dynamic. That's being a volleyball. And they can be just as static as anything in those cases. So that's our first point. Our next point will be dialogue. So, dialogue. Couple things here. Big one, it needs to be believable. You aren't going to have some lower city thug speaking like a British English professor. And if they are, there better be a really good explanation for it. Otherwise, out the window goes believability, and why are we listening to this? Or reading this, as the case may be. Another part of dialogue also has to do with the fact that it should push the story forward in some way. It should always serve a purpose. It can do this in a lot of ways, though. It can progress the story, such as the detective discovering more about the missing person they're looking for by questioning someone. Or it could be a revealer of character. In fact, that's one of the great things with dialogue. It can reveal a character in how they speak, in what they say, and how they say it. That tells us a lot about a person. So that's really helpful as readers to be able to look at something and come to know a character, not merely by what they do, but how they say what they say, and what they say in the first place. Do they talk slang? Do they use large words? Do they talk like you and me? Perhaps they use some military jargon. It all reveals character. And that's why it serves such a great purpose in literature, in reading. If the dialogue's bad, if the character is speaking to another character, but is really speaking to us, just being used as an info dump or something, it's going to break the experience. It pulls us as readers out of the story. And that makes things difficult. So, I think that'll cover it for dialogue. Let's move on to the next subject. The next point we're going to handle is fictional place. Now, basically this answers where and when. If we don't know when this is, it could be in the past, the present, or the future. It could be confusing for the reader. So, same thing with place. Are we on a boat, a castle, someone's house, a city, the country? All of that forms the story. It allows us to visualize it. If we don't know any of this, we're in limbo. And we don't like that because we don't know what's going on. Why are the characters acting the way they do? Are they acting a specific way because of where they are? Or is it something else? These are things we need to know as readers. And they're easy to establish. They should be established by the first, maybe the second page at most. And it's easy. Are we in an office? Make some mention of the character and their office surroundings. That tells us a lot already. If we're in an office, chances are it's modern day. And definitely not in the past. We're not talking medieval. If there's a knight, chances are we're in, Middle Ages. Those settings all play a part in what we as readers are seeing. If we don't know what we're looking at or looking for, the rest won't make sense. The characters have to fit the scene, and if we don't know what that scene is, we don't know what the characters are supposed to be. So it makes a big difference as to whether or not we can understand the story. Our next part is very similar related. We're going to be talking about fictional time. We'll get to that in the next segment. Fictional time. Now you might be thinking, hold on, we just talked about this. But it really is a different subject from fictional place. While place answers when and where, fictional time covers how the scene plays out. A story may cover 1,000 years of fictional time while we read it in only a few minutes. Or a story may take place in a few seconds, but take much longer to read. For one example, there's us here and now. You have likely been watching this video for several minutes, but for me, this has taken several days to put together. Note, I'm even wearing a different shirt this go around. Okay, that may not be the best example. Let's try another. Often when a person is in a car crash, their brain will pick up more details than normal, giving the event a slow motion feeling. This can be created by a writer for us to read. Let's take a moment of a gunfight. I was shot. That conveys a split-second event. Pow, you're hit. Doesn't convey that slow motion effect of that split second though. How about this though? The bullet left the muzzle with a flash of expanding gunpowder, its metal projectile cutting through the air like a vibro knife through turkey. I tried to dodge, but failed. With a spray of red blood, the bullet entered my shoulder, glanced off the bone, and stuck in the muscle of my upper arm. That was still the same split second, but it conveyed so much more. Fictional time may also be used in more of a real-time style, or to glance over several years in a second of our own time, all of which affects how we see the story and our experience as readers. Next, we'll talk about desire. Now let's talk about desire. Desire is the driving force behind a character, the reason they do anything that they do. If a character didn't have a desire, they wouldn't do anything. They'd just exist. That's not interesting, so why would we want to read about it? But they do have desires. They want something. And so they go out to do that thing, to get that thing, to achieve their desire. And that desire may change as the story progresses, but it may not. Depends on what that desire is, depends on the character, the events, everything. But the story happens because they had a desire, or have a desire, and go to achieve it. Some stories are even about them not getting their desire. I believe we generally call those tragedies. For one example, let's take Odysseus from the Odyssey. He really wants to go home. But everything seems to be against him going home. Everything wants to kill him. Everything wants to get in the way, have him stay longer, have him not go home. All these are obstacles to his desire, which he has to overcome. And it's because of those obstacles and his desire to go home being unwavering that we have the story that we have. Because he goes through all these adventures, he sails to all these different lands, all in an attempt to get home. So, I hope that lays out pretty well for you why desire is important, why it's needed. And it's not something just for the main character, it's for all characters. The villains too, the characters that just play a part, but aren't the protagonist. Everyone needs a desire to make them real, and to give them a purpose for doing what they do. We've got one more segment to hit on, and we're going to hit that next. This last segment is going to be about the senses. We're reading a book, going through the words, not much to it, right? Yet, some books suck us in. We are there. We experience what the characters experience. Generally, when that happens, it's because the story is using the senses, building off of our own experiences through the words. They may describe a texture, and we can imagine what that is to feel that texture. We may hear the voices in our minds. We may see what is being described, taste what the character is describing as what they're tasting, or smelling what they're smelling. And this makes the story more real for us, more interesting, because our minds use those details to create the scene and put us in it, so that we experience it too. And this is important for, I think, every story. If we're not there, it's not going to hold our attention nearly so well. And then we'll go off and read something else, or maybe not even read it all. And that kind of beats the goal of the author writing a book so you'll read it. That's it for our segments. Have a good day. One last word in parting. Thanks for watching. We hope you found this useful, entertaining, whatever it may be. And if you're watching this on YouTube, please hit subscribe and the like button. Or if you didn't like it, hit the dislike button. Go ahead. Though I doubt you'd be watching all the way through till this point if you didn't like it. But once again, thanks for watching, and have a good day, night, wherever you may be. Bye.